What is good, fam?
What's good?
What'd you do today? You hit a workout?
I hit a nice workout, a lot of mobility stretches, for the joints and the knees. Cooked a nice meal, went to the park, walked on over, and now we're here.
Beautiful day.
Beautiful
Jiu-jitsu
day.
today or
I go to the jujitsu gym every day almost, whether I work out or do jujitsu. Today, no jujitsu. I just did like weights and stuff.
and you're going for your brown belt, right?
No, I'm actually going for my purple belt, but
Okay.
like when I first started jujitsu, it was very much like, oh, I really want to be this black belt guy, and now it's just really become a part of my life and it's really good for my brain. And yes, maybe one day I'll have that black belt. Right now I'm a blue belt, so it goes white, blue, purple, brown, black. But I'm in for the journey, man. And with everything in life, I find it's about the journey, not the destination, you know.
I love that. That's what it is. It's like the destination is not as special if you can't enjoy the journey.
It's kind of like an illusion a little bit. I think, there is a nice thing. Like, you ever seen like a cartoon where the guy's riding like an animal and he has like the carrot in front of him and they're moving. Like that is the destination in a way. I guess it can keep you going. What are your goals? Where do you see yourself at? But really, if you're not living day to day, loving what you're doing in the present moment to build something, then I don't know. And that to me is the journey. It's not, the journey isn't necessarily looking back all the time. It's kind of being in the now and in each step you take.
Word, word. So I see you getting to your black belt. I believe in you. I mean, you got the blue quick, so
Yeah, man. Thank you. Appreciate that.
all right, everybody, introducing my brother, Tony Flo.
What's
This
up?
guy is really like family to me. He knows my brothers, he knows my parents, he knows my cousins. I mean, we go way back. I met this man in college. I really appreciate him.
Appreciate you too, bro. For real. Big time. Big time.
For real, this is like my bro.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to start. I know you got a project coming out this
Okay.
Friday, so let's talk about that. Tell me about it.
Okay, man. Let's talk about it. So, let's see. It's called Sun and Moon Bounce. Not really sure how that came to be, but it's a four track EP, and two of them are much more bright, sunny kind of music. Actually, one of the tracks I made was after that 10-day spree of no sun in New York during winter. I don't know if you remember that, but there was a 10-day spree this winter where there was no sun. And being from Miami, I love the sun. So there's a song on there called Sunshine Bounce, and that one was actually made on the first day of sun. And I was actually cooking it up at my house. And I just remember the sun hitting me in the face and being like, let's
Thank God,
go.
dude. The
Thank God.
sun was just not there. Like it felt like all of 2024 we got like maybe 5% sunny days.
Yeah, man. It was a long, cold winter, but it's cool because I think the winter also evokes some emotion in me that's different. So the other two tracks are the moon tracks, and they're a little more dark, a little more eerie.
That late night.
Yeah, definitely late night in the car, late night at the club, like kind of thing. What's going on. And it's cool because I do like the yin and yang a little bit. I do read Tao Te Ching very little bit. But the duality of it. So two of the tracks are more sun, two of the tracks are more moon, and I cooked it up during this winter/spring, and it was cool because it's a different direction for me. I make a lot of different kind of music, got a lot of different stuff on the way. But recently, I've been making a lot of like house music, deeper kind of house music, and this one has a little more break beats to it, a little more like acid bass, and yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited to let this one out and set the pavement for the next two tracks, or
Yeah,
next
well,
two albums
let's enjoy this one because it's coming soon. I'm excited for it too.
this
Can you,
Friday.
can you talk about like the creative process? I know you've had some people come around the studio, and what was that like? How did it help you get the sound you wanted?
Yeah, man. So this was interesting because I actually cooked this up in between having a studio. So I had this other studio in Ridgewood, Queens, and I finished my lease there, and I had moved all my stuff to this newer studio, and I love it. It's called Danbro. It's on Montrose Avenue there in East Williamsburg, and it's a really nice place because I have a nice community of friends there, and it's a big vibe, and I have a little window in my studio, which is a blessing. But for this project, I actually started cooking this up at my crib, excuse me, because I didn't have all that stuff set up. So I was
Right.
using a lot of like really deep cut samples, cutting them myself, programming a lot of stuff, and just kind of really going for a raw approach. I have a lot of I have actually some of my friends on this album, just low key. They're in the background and they're doing a lot of the ad libs and the effects that you don't actually realize are my friends. But we did that on a SM58 in my house, just raw as hell, just letting it go. And for this project, I was at first wanted it to sound super perfect and things like that. And as we started getting down the dirty journey, it was like, nah, man, this is gonna be a rawer kind of sound. So it's the late '90s, early 2000s influence, little like Toonami, little like club influence, but we threw it through tape, which is cool to give it that raw sound. We threw it through a real tape machine, and I'm just excited for the rawness and the realness and letting this song go out into the world, man.
I'm excited, man. Do you have like what's the hit? Do you think one of the songs is like
You
more of the
know,
club song or
there's a remix on there. It's gonna open up with this cool remix by Sandy Rivera, Kings of Tomorrow. This song called Finally, and I made my own switch to it. And a lot of people have said that that's their favorite. But every time I put out a track or a project, I find that different demographics of my friends, different groups of people kind of gravitate towards different tracks.
makes sense.
So I have like a favorite of mine. It's called These MF Swear. It's just because sometimes these MF swear.
Okay.
And I had to let out a little steam on that one. So but I'm gonna let you guys decide what's your favorite, and feel free to let me know because I'm always happy to listen back and move with you guys.
We're excited for that.
Hell
It's
yeah.
coming out this Friday, bumping it all summer long.
Let's
Now,
go.
let's go back to the OG days, like the fundamentals, because I know Tony Flo started as a drummer.
Yes, and I still am a drummer, and I have a new drum kind of project coming up in the works. I've been in the DJ scene very heavy in New York for a while because
For sure.
that is like my bread and butter. I mean, I did grow up, so I guess like way back then, I played a little piano and guitar, but I really didn't fall in love with like playing an instrument until I started playing drums.
Okay.
I started playing around, I want to say like 10, 11, something like that. Because I would play Rock Band drums like an MF at my crib.
Hell yeah, bro. So would I.
So I would I had a guitar. I was playing guitar, and then for one of the holidays we got the Rock Band, and all my friends would come over and play Rock Band, and dude, I would play Rock Band drums all night. And it was next to my dad's room, and he'd be like, what the hell is this guy doing, And then next thing you know, my birthday came around, there was a drum set, and yeah, man, that it's just it's very amazing for kids to play drums because it's very instantly gratifying. You hit the drum and it's loud and it's very exciting, and it's a big proponent of music. It's like the backbone of a song. Even if the drums aren't really in the forefront, they're still holding the song together, and that's helped me so much through my musical life. And then come around maybe like 12 years old, I started DJing. My cousin gave me some DJ stuff, and I've been kind of doing all of these things together. But really, for the past little bit, I've really been drumming. And then I came to the city, and the DJ thing came back, and I've been producing a lot of that stuff. But I think it's important to always be kind of formless. And I like to produce, I like to drum, I like to DJ. Actually, I live for those things, but I like to say that those are all part of me. I don't really want to pick one because it's just, I got arms, legs, and chest. Or, it's just, there's different things to the whole component. So.
Yeah, you've definitely showed to be more of like a rounded musician, not just a drummer. But what was it like as a kid, like just drumming? When you went from Rock Band and you upgraded to the real sticks, like, did you have lessons? Were you self-taught?
Yeah, so I definitely had some lessons when I was a kid. Shout out to those who know they are, taught me some stuff. And man, I was actually really obsessed with this video that Travis Barker put out when I was
word?
probably like 12 years old, and he's playing to Soulja Boy, Crank That, like punk rock version, and I saw that, I was like, yo, I gotta be that. that guy, you know.
Okay. Okay.
I even like dressed up for him as Halloween one year, you know, and I was like, yeah, whatever. But as I got older, I started to get into more like funk music, and as I started DJing, I liked a lot of like disco and house music, and even like EDM as a kid, even dubstep and like dubstep drum and bass kind of shit, and just love to dance always. I used to always dance in my room to "Don't Stop Planet Rock" by Africa Bambaataa. My mom's put me on when I
Okay.
was a little kid, man, and when I was like bar mitzvah season, I would literally like sit up in the mirror and I would dance that song for hours. So I always loved groove and dancing, and now I'm at this point in my life where having this long journey of drums and electronic music as well, just with groove, makes me feel really good, you know. So and yeah, man, I like a lot of like different styles of music. And a lot of them are drum focused. I do like a lot of jazz. I like a lot of like old school funk, old school hip hop. I love like 80s music, new wave stuff, even like 80s funk and boogie. Love house music, drum and bass. I love salsa. I'm half Cuban, so definitely like to enjoy that music. I feel it in my blood. And man, just as long as there's a groove, as long as the drums are popping, I'm probably gonna be into it, you know. So
Word. That's cool. So music has been a big part since you've been 10 years old of your life. And when I met you, there was a band called Space Camel. Before then, I heard from our friend Matt, there was a band called Reckless Youth.
yes,
Tell me about those OG bands because that was like when I first met you, it was like Space Camel, you know?
yeah, man. So I started playing drums in like middle school. Just kind of a thing I would do at the house a little bit. A lot of bit I would play, you know, to headphones and stuff like that, and do little videos in my room. And then I would have some buddies come over, and I would hang out with a couple of kids, and y'all know who you are too, you know. And we would jam out, and our parents were like, "Why don't we make them form a band?" And I was like, "Okay, cool." So it was with my friends Christy, Luke, Kane, Matthew, and we were Reckless Youth, and we were like the high school good boy, bad boy kind of thing, you know. But really, we're just like good, sweet kids, you know, like just a little edgy, I guess. And we actually wrote some songs together. We played a lot. We actually would throw cool parties, man, when we were young, and it was kind of one of those things where it's like we're sneaking in the stuff, you know. You can't let the parents know we got like a little like Motrin thing full of vodka or anything like
Oh,
that, you know.
wow.
Sometimes on the low, you know.
How old were you when Reckless Youth was?
Well, like we started probably when I was like 14, 15, 16 until like
Okay.
till we graduated high school.
Okay.
And we did some cool stuff. We would throw events and we would charge tickets. And kids would come and we would actually use that money to empower some inner city youth programs for music
Oh, cool.
in the city, and in a very hands-on way. Like we would go out and play with the kids, and like I donated a drum set to one of these schools. And now, shout out to Young Musicians Unite in Miami. They're a huge nonprofit organization. Shout out to Mr. Sammy. What up? And, you know, we kind of started that thing, but it was cool because it was like genuine kids that wanted to play music, that wanted to rock out, and giving back and having fun, and giving back to the kids at our school, and giving back to kids that, you know, didn't have much. And it was fun because we would throw these events and then we would play, and I would even DJ the after parties and stuff. It was like a whole thing, man. We were young, so that was definitely pre Space Camo. It was like the Reckless Youth days.
Right.
And do you want me to talk about Space?
Yeah, I want to hear it because that's when I first met you. It was Space Camel.
So shout out Space Camel, my boys. You all know who you are too, man. And so I was playing with them probably in my later years of high school into college, and we were like definitely a cool little thing. We had some cool songs. We were kind of more into like psychedelic rock, funk, disco, dance, Miami sounds, and we actually had like a little bit of a following, man. We were like definitely like a little bit of a cult classic, I think, for the Young Bucks in Miami at the time. And you know, they found me, I think, through just mutual friends and going out, kind of. And
Mhm.
one day, Julian and Martin, shouts out to my boys, we still hanging out. Um, they came over and we were like, yeah, we're forming a band. They showed me the song they recorded, and I was like, this is sick. And we jammed out, and they're like, you're in. And so we started playing, and we would play around Miami. We played around South Florida. very DIY fun stuff, and we definitely like to party, have a good time too. So that was fun.
That's always been you. One thing I particularly remember about Space Camel is that Usher has a Space Camel card somewhere. Somewhere in his home. I just know it.
Yes, he does.
He does. Can you tell me about that at Big Pink?
Yeah, so I actually met Mr. Stefan first like hour of college. He was on my floor. He had a Lil Wayne poster. And I was like, yo,
Yep.
that's so sick, bro. Like I love Lil
That's how we bonded.
And so we bought. He's like, "Yo, that's sick." So we were tight, and we went out one night, and we were up really late. And I remember we went to Big Pink on South Beach. Shout out Big Pink. And we're sitting down at a little table after a long, crazy night. And,
It's already morning time.
Yeah, it's definitely daytime. Yeah, it was definitely daytime. And Mr. Usher gets up, and I'm like, "Holy cow, that's Usher!" And lo and behold, Stefan is like, "Yo, go say what's up." And I was like, "Hey Usher, what's up, man? I'm Tony Flo. I'm in this dope band, Space Camel. What's up?" And he was actually very nice and very welcoming. He's like, "Wow, that's so cool, man. Like, really, that's really awesome." He like looked me in the eyes, actually meant it because I've met a lot of famous people, a lot of big name people, big name people just through life, and the ones that really resonate with me are the ones that are still people. Usher, like, what this guy? And Usher's like, "Yeah, man." And I don't know if he asked me or if I asked him, but I ended up giving him our little like first print of the round Space Camel business card that was like made on like word art, And I'm like, "Here, man, like check it out." And he took it. He said, "Thank you so much." And he like walked away. And that was a really nice moment.
He said he will check it out. Shout out Usher. That was real cool.
That was cool, Usher. Thank you, Usher.
Next up, I know you spent some time in the studio with Fuge.
Oh man.
Future, what was it like seeing his creative process? What he was like in the studio?
Oh man, you're really bringing out these old stories, my
Man, you got some legendary moments.
I do
People want to know.
I've definitely, low key been doing this for a while, and it's just what I want to do forever. But anyway, when I was 18 years old, I actually got a job, my first kind of job internship, working at a really dope studio, Circle House Studio. Shout out to them in Miami, Florida. There have been a lot of hits coming out there. And I was just a young kid that wanted to do something for the summer. And so lo and behold, I actually went to this place, and it's usually for audio engineers. It's like a big place for a lot of like people that want to engineer sessions and do that kind of work go. And they intern, they come up, and then they start working with big artists. I was just a kid, and I was playing a lot of drums. And so I go to the interview process, and they're actually owned by the band Inner Circle. Shout out to them, a legendary reggae band. And they were jamming out in their room. And I just kind of spoke up. I was like, "Hey, man, like, I play drums. Can I play with you guys?" And they're like, "Yeah, you play?" And I was like, "Yeah, I play." And I went up there and I started playing with them. And they're like, "Yo, man, like, that's cool, but like play the simple shit and play it loud." And I was like, "Okay, cool, man. Sounds good." And so I just went there and I simpled it up and played it loud. And I remember Mr. Rogers, shout out Mr. Rogers, he said, "Yeah, you good, man. Go tell BB you good." So I went up and I got the gig. And on my first night of work, it ends up being Future and Neo in Studio
So
AB.
crazy.
And then there's some other stuff. There's all these working ladies, these big tough guys.
Yeah.
Saw some things like maybe 18-year-old maybe shouldn't, or maybe he should see. It depends who you ask. And I just remember seeing Future, and I didn't really get into his creative process, but he was another one, man. He's a super tall guy. I'm this short, long-haired Jewish kid just chilling, I'm like, "Yo, Future, what's up, man?" He's like, "Oh, hey, what's up, bro?" And he's like smiling at me, and I was just like, "Hey, man, like, thank you so much for the music," because at the time I was so into it. And he was like, "Yeah, man, that's cool, And I actually like went in the studio after, and there was some stuff I had to clean up, and he left his dope ass hat, and I put it on. I took a selfie with it.
I would keep that hat. I can't. You
thank-
returned it, right?
Yeah. I put it on for like 2 seconds. Don't come for me, Future. I put it on for 1 second. I was like, "All right, selfie, I'm out," and I put it back down.
That's so cool.
Yeah, man.
So you've been around the block. You've seen a lot of these big artists. You've been around them. I think that shows like the direction that you're going for. Where are you trying to take this? Like, what are your? I mean, you got this project out. Let's enjoy it. What's like the big vision? What are the goals?
The big vision, man, is ultimately I want to give music to the world for myself and for the world. I want to play it. I want to record it. I want to spin it. However it is, that's my currency, man. Giving people music and feeling that love and giving myself the music too, that's like what really drives me. But that's the woo woo, that's the spiritual part. I really want to be touring. I will be touring around the world, playing drums with a live group that I create and DJ and like an MF and recording a lot of tracks and just getting hella music out. I'm a big Prince fan, and I do read up on a lot of my heroes and a lot of musicians I look up to, and non-musicians that I look up to. But what's so cool about Prince is, we only got to hear like 10% of his music. And I don't know if you're a big Prince fan, but there are some really big Prince fans. And if you know, his catalog that's out already is so long. And so actually in his house, there is or was, rest in peace, obviously, a vault full of tapes, full of CDs, full of MP3s and recordings that are literally like a bank vault that we may or may not ever hear. And I don't know if I'll get there, but I would like to leave this world with a lot of music for everybody, all different styles, and y'all get to pick what you like and take home points.
That man was a hard worker. So can you talk about, because you spoke about a couple people, Travis Barker, Prince, anyone else that really like stands out when it comes to inspiring you?
Oh man, dude, as I've grown, that's changed. So like Travis Barker was like 14-year-old me,
Right.
13-year-old me, I still love Prince, I love Michael Jackson, I love Herbie Hancock. I'm a little more of an old school guy, man. I
Yeah.
do love new music, but my heart's really in the old stuff. I like movements of music, but
Sade.
I love Sade. I would say Sade and Chaka Khan, and honestly, Patrice Rushen and Minnie Riperton. Those four ladies are probably my favorite ladies in music, for all different reasons.
I gotta throw LTJ Bookham in there too.
LTJ Bookham is pretty amazing, man. But see, this is all very diverse stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and that's the cool thing is I think especially now in a world of technology, we have the access to really go hear someone's music. So I ask y'all watching this or listening to this to please like go out of your comfort zone and look for all this different stuff. I didn't come out of the womb listening to LTJ Bookham and Sade and all these people. It's just you as you go down the path, you try different things. And you're a big wine guy, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd say so.
so it's kind of like wine,
Yeah.
when you first try wine as a kid after drinking grape juice, you're like, what the hell is that? And then as you get older, different things change. And as you get more into wine, different flavors you like more and different flavors you like for certain times and settings. And that's the same thing with music. Sometimes the first time you hear it, you're like, I don't know about this. You give it a try and you're like, wow, that's amazing. Or you're in a certain place and the music's hitting the right way. You're like, wow, that's amazing. So that's all I say about that. I guess I just
Yeah,
love music.
for sure, man. You've definitely helped improve my like range of taste
Oh,
when it comes to music. I appreciate that. Now you speak about getting out of your comfort zone. Now I know one way you went about that was you were posted up in Miami during COVID and you decided to make a big move to Brooklyn.
dessert.
How is moving to New York help and stepping out of your comfort zone helped you expand your career and you know get to where you are right now, which we'll speak a little bit about.
Oh man. So I mean, I love Miami. I love New York. I love both of these places a lot, but I think it's important for every little chicken to leave the nest. Every little birdie got to jump. And for a while, I was in Miami my whole life. It's an amazing place. There's amazing musicians. There's great places to play. I just felt that I had kind of hit a little bit of a cap, and I wanted something new. And COVID was a time of change for everybody. And so moving out to New York and not really knowing anyone and having to really get out there and knock on doors, I feel has been building me down this journey. I remember for the longest time, I mean, in Miami, I would gig every week, multiple times, and do pretty well financially through that. And then when I came to New York, I used to bring my stuff to go DJ at my friend's jam session and maybe make $40 for like 5 hours of work. And that's the kind of stuff that I think really builds someone I remember when I was living in Miami, my mom was living up here at the time, so I would come up and visit her. And I went and saw Mark Giuliano, who's an amazing drummer, play. And he's playing at Rockwood, actually, downtown. And I went up to him. I was like, man, like something along the lines like, what's the scene like here or whatever? And he said to me, he said, well, there's guys that brought their stuff on the train to go play. There's guys that didn't do that. And I think, being in New York and being in the grit around a lot of people has really shaped me up. And it's not all bad. It's not all tough. There's just also a beautiful web of musicians here, and it's deep. There's all kinds of music here. So I think being exposed to music 24/7 with really good colleagues and friends I've met along the way and seeing different stuff has really expanded myself and also made me grow as a better musician and a better listener.
I remember those days, you going up to every venue, just being like, "Yo, I'm Tony Flo. I DJ this and that." Now you're more in the position where a lot of venues are even coming up to you, and you're not. I mean, you're hustling it, but you're not like knocking on doors like you used to. You've established a name for yourself. Can you talk about like what helped you do that? And for anyone who might be aspiring to like get in the DJ scene, this and that, like what can they do? What can they take from what you learned in your experience to like grow their following out here?
Well, I will say, I'm not going to say I'm not knocking on doors anymore, but I'm not as desperate knocking on every door as much anymore. I think at first you got to really just do what you can get because that's important because no one should
Yeah,
ever be too picky or I'm too good for this,
right.
especially in a new place. You got to just see what you can get, right? And then when you get there, what you're going to do about it. Right now, I'm more into knocking into maybe like some bigger doors, some smarter doors, some maybe
Yeah,
more financially better,
rewarding.
rewarding doors, but still knocking on doors nonetheless. And that doesn't mean that I still won't do stuff for the homies, and that's also important. But I think really kind of letting all of your expectations and your fears kind of get out of the way for a second and like humble yourself to get out, to be humble and be like, yo, I'm gonna go try this out. I'm gonna go talk to this person, find out who's the guy here to do whatever. And I'm gonna go and present myself as best as I can to see what works. And sometimes shit sticks and sometimes shit doesn't stick. You gotta keep sticking to shits, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that it's just important to be fearless, but I really think it's important to always be yourself. And I see a lot of guys on the scene now just kind of trying to fit into a box, whether it be like, really schooled jazz where it's like, oh, I want to sound like this
Right.
old person, or I just bought a DJ controller and I want to be a DJ, Mr. Cool Guy, and I'm trying to play what everyone else is playing. But like, I I don't want to hear that. I want to hear who you are. I want to hear who I am. So always break that box, be yourself, because even if people don't get it at first, it's gonna be got eventually, and it's felt. And the truth is, no one can do you like you. So all I say is be fearless, knock on doors. And by the way, everything I say here, I'm telling myself too. So that's very important. So
Yeah, and it's been impressive because I've watched you do this and seen
thanks,
how
man.
much you've grown, which is really cool. Can we talk about some of the places? I know you played at Somewhere Nowhere. Um, you played at New Blues. You play at Sauced often. There's that. Oh, Nebula. You've been at like a lot of these big ass clubs. Do you have a favorite place to play?
I got to play at Hollow, which
Oh,
is
right.
in
I know you love that
Ridgewood.
place.
Yeah, it's in Ridgewood. I got to play there one time, and I got to spend it nowadays once. And man, I'm a real junkie for good sound. When it
Yeah.
when it comes to DJing, especially because you bring all these records, you bring all these songs that you produced or songs you love, and you go play them loud. It's not really about playing them loud; it's about playing them good. And the way you do that is with sound. So at these two places in specific, I played a lot of places with good sound, but those two, man, it was just a real joy to really be back there and play because it's just you're hearing really what you're trying to hear and what they're trying to hear. And what's cool about these places is they tune them right so the viewer or the listener rather and the DJ can be in there for a long time without being like, holy cow, it's so loud. It's more just like clear, but you still feel that shit. So shout out to anyone really tuning out their clubs. I really wish all the clubs really just threw down, I don't know, a couple $100 or $1,000 to pay someone to really tune these rooms, because I, as a patron at these places, and I believe a lot of other people too, the sound really makes the vibe, and the vibe gets the drinks poured, and et cetera, et cetera. So do that.
The experience is vital. So we got Hollow, and we got nowadays great sound systems
Great
in
sound
New York.
systems in New York. Yes, I really enjoy those, and I'm always trying to play new places. So yeah.
Very cool. All right, so we got the breakdown: Miami versus New York. Now you have like a good group. I wouldn't say every, but you meet a lot of people in New York. Is that like just how the city goes, like compared to Miami, musician wise?
Well, here's the thing. In Miami, you're in the car a lot.
Yeah,
In New
yeah,
York, you're not
yeah.
in the car a lot,
Right,
And I swear to God, man, there will be times where every day I'm out doing my daily whatever. I'm going to a gig or whatever, and I will see somebody I know. So, whether it's a close friend, I'm like, oh my God, that's that guy from wherever,
right.
you know.
Or you
c-
meet someone new.
or you meet someone new. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I think even on the phone yesterday, I was like talking with you, and I ran into a
yeah,
homie of
yeah,
mine.
yeah.
And I did again later that day. I just think, like New York's a big city, but really it's like kind of tight knit, and there's a lot of communities here. So people connect through communities and different friend groups and different vibes of people, and it's just a blessing to meet all these people, because that's what makes New York, I think, really beautiful, is a lot of people. Even though there's some crazy, crazy people, I think there's a lot of people here that all have a different little gift or little thing, and you see them out, and it really makes it magic. And especially with music, I go out and I see different musicians or DJs, producers, all of them, whatever. And in my little mind, I see each of those people's talents and vibes, and it's so cool to be in a world like that. Even to the point where I got like all the musicians in my phone, I put a little emoji of what they
Oh,
do. It's kind of yeah,
okay,
it's kind of funny. So I'll type in someone's name, and then I'll put like headphones for the DJ, or like
right.
guitar player for the guitar.
So if you need like a DJ, you could just put the headphone emoji in, and you got like a list of DJs right there.
Bada bing, bada boom.
That's one way to filter your contacts and network. You
There you
see?
go. There you
I
go.
love that.
Yeah.
That's epic, man. Well, it's been a blessing to really see how far you've come and just know where you're going, because I really know where you're going. I believe in you.
Thank you, my brother.
For real, bro.
I feel the support from this man. That he shows love.
I
So.
see how people react at the shows. I see how people keep dancing. It's real, man. I mean, you got a real talent.
Thank you,
It's
man.
it's everything from the drums to the DJing, and I think we're gonna hear some new stuff too eventually. So
Oh yeah, we got that going on for you.
keep an eye out on Tony Flow. There are big things coming. Now, just a few questions before we leave.
No worries.
It's the Better Road It's the Better Road podcast. What's one thing that makes you better or improves the quality of your life on a daily basis, or maybe like once a week? What's something you like to add to your regimen?
Just show up. Just show up. With the jujitsu, this is for me, right? So with the jujitsu, with the drumming, going to the studio, just show up, man. Like in jujitsu, they say, the time on the mat is how good you get, how much time you spend on the mat, right? There's a lot of days where you don't want to do this thing, or you're hard on yourself and you can't. Show up. You show up to the mat, I guarantee you'll have a good time, right? It's the getting there. Same thing with practicing your instrument or doing something remedial that you don't want to do that's for your career. You got to just show up to the mat. And like, I think discipline allows you to have more fun, if that makes sense, when you're doing the thing. Just keep showing up. I remember one time someone told me Stephen King, he writes for 2 hours a day, and that's not even that much if you think about it. But no matter what, he's gonna write for 2 hours a day. Sometimes he comes out with a book. Sometimes he writes the word "the." But either way, he shows up. And I think if you have discipline, there's freedom, and freedom, there's fun. So
there you have it. Just show up, stay consistent. Those are big concepts. Now, where can the people find you? I know people might want to connect, maybe reach out. What's the best way to do so?
So you can follow me on Instagram or all the socials at Tony Flow Music, straight like that, Flow with the W. Find me on Spotify, find me on YouTube Music, SoundCloud, all that, Tony Flow. I got mixes and stuff like that as well on SoundCloud. I do a radio show myself at Newtown Radio. Shout out to them. every other Wednesday, 4 to 6 p.m. You can find that on their website and on their Instagram, Newtown Radio. And yeah, man, I'm out here in New York. I'm out here in Miami. I love to make new music. I like to connect with people. I love people. So if you want to connect, let's do it. You want to make some music, let's do it. Want to vibe out? Let's vibe out. You know, so,
Mans is outside.
we outside.
You can catch Tony outside.
You can catch me outside, man. It's summer right now, so you know.
That's what's up, man. I'm gonna link all that in the video. One more thing before we go.
Yes, sir.
Who do you suggest comes on the show?
Oof. Oh my gosh, this is a pinner. I know so many people. Oh my gosh. I got a good pal of mine. He's a great painter. His name is Matthew Hansman. Shout out to my brother
Okay, word.
from Miami. He just pulled up to New York City, so you're gonna have to get in on his business. So do that.
Word up, Matt. We'll see you here soon.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all for watching.
Thank you, guys.
We got a lot more on the way. Please subscribe and have a great day.
Have a lovely day.
Peace.
Peace.